It's the 31st of October, Halloween, and the last day of the Month of Mayhem. We've had a lot of fun this month, solving mysteries, building a harem, running from evil dentists, but it's time to relax, curl up in a chair with a nice cup of cocoa and a fluffy blanket, and watch some holiday-themed cartoons. Now usually for me that would mean a marathon of Peanuts classics, but this year I wanted to watch a newer, up-and-coming classic that I've heard a lot of good things about, but never seen for myself. So this Halloween I dived into the unknown with Over the Garden Wall. The first thing that caught my attention was the style of the show. It has that old, early Americana feel that reminds me of The Wizard of Oz or Gone with the Wind, presented with music that exudes nostalgia, despite the fact this was put together in 2014. It ties together the look of old holiday specials and modern animation to make a high-quality production that feels classic. It instantly hit me with charm and whimsy, and I am a sucker for charm and whimsy. The story is about Wirt and Gregory trying to find their way home after finding themselves lost in the woods. It starts with them already lost and dives straight into their first strange encounter, a meeting with a woodsman who cuts down trees filled with oil for a lantern he can never let die. As a first episode, this threw me for a major loop. I didn't know how our protagonists got into the woods, I knew nothing of where they came from or what time period it was, or really anything about what I was getting into. It was a bit jostling as far as intros go, but the main characters easily carried me through that unease and allowed me to settle into this strange new world. The brothers are both wonderful characters, simple enough to be identifiable and relatable while also being incredibly likable. Wirt's attempts to cautiously plan while Gregory almost plays his way through trouble is a fun dynamic that pairs well with their relationship as brothers. It creates great pacing for both humor and drama without either feeling forced. But what works best about them is the care they have for each other. Wirt may be a planner and the big brother, but he never gets harsh or authoritarian while they travel. He listens to Gregory and joins him in lighthearted antics despite their uncertain surroundings. And in turn, Gregory listens to his brother and respects him, never letting his playful nature influence him into purposely causing trouble. They come across as loving brothers who get along, and that works so well with the story. There are only 10 episodes in the series, each at 11 minutes long. That is not a lot of time for a full complex story, but it is enough time for a simpler and fun one. Each episode is creative and vastly different from the others. Sometimes the boys are around other humans in a semi-normal setting. Other times they're on a boat populated exclusively by frogs. But even so, the show carries some threads of mystery tying everything together. The Beast is the main villain that appears in multiple episodes and is known by almost all the inhabitants of this strange world. Who he really is or what he does is kept a mystery until the very end. Same with the woodsman's involvement and the boys' backstory before they got lost. All these mysteries keep the audience hooked and wanting more despite the disconnect between the episodes. Every episode but one takes place in some old fall setting. Old mills, taverns, cornfields, haunted woods, every backdrop looks like it was painted in an early 1900s fall. The color palette is fall, the locations are fall, the people are fall. There isn't any solidity to these locations either. The boys are lost, and the fact the locations never reference each other, nor do they visually connect, makes the audience feel just as lost. Places just come and go, which adds to the surrealness of everything our heroes come across. I usually like my reviews to have more objective language, but really the best way I can describe the feeling of this setting is by calling it old and warm, a dose of familiar mixed with the unnerving and the unknown. And that is in no small part due to the amazing soundtrack. The show is filled with incredible music that echoes the warm, surreal, and spooky atmosphere. Character songs are catchy and charming, with delightful vocal work coming from people and frogs alike. The background music is filled to the brim with violins and old piano, flooding the ears with nostalgia. I don't know anything about making music, but whatever the blasting company did was magic. It is also magic how well this show managed to balance the wholesome and creepy elements and make it work. Each episode has its oddities and creativity that edges on horror, but then some twist will occur that makes everything okay. When they think they're digging up a grave for themselves, it's actually to free skeletons who've come back to life. Is a ghost haunting a rich man? No, it's just an equally wealthy woman whose mansion has unknowingly been attached to his. And the overbearing father who's threatening to close down a school and stealing instruments from animal children? He's actually broke and trying to sell them to make money to keep the school running. It's such a wonderful mix of creepy imagery with wholesome storytelling, and that's not a mix I thought I'd want, but I do. And on top of that mix is the fact that there is some real substance to the story despite its tendency for happy endings. In the beginning, Beatrice the talking bird has as much understanding of the boys as we do, which is none. As she asks questions and travels with them, she helps Wirt open up about their lives before. We learn that they're half-brothers, that Wirt views himself as a loser amongst his classmates. His darkest secret is that he has a crush on a girl and plays the clarinet. And as the story progresses, and especially after Beatrice's betrayal, we get to see those ideas change from funny anecdotes to serious character issues Wirt needs to overcome with the help of Gregory. It isn't overly dramatic, nor intense and thrilling, but Wirt's subtle growth through the story is impactful in its own way. We get to watch him grow more confident after each adventure, lose hope after the betrayal, go through a period of sadness, and then remember what's really important. It's not the most drastic change, but its simplicity matches the tone and pacing of the show much better than a drastic, dramatic arc would. Similarly, Gregory grows in a subtle and simple way too. Over time, he takes on more responsibility, and after Beatrice's betrayal, tries to step up and be the support his brother needs. Despite the fact he is still a child and doesn't really understand his brother's emotions. He's too young for dramatic growth, but his attempts to help Wirt show his character maturing nonetheless. The side characters are much the same. The problems are simple and solved fairly easily, but they still carry emotional weight so as not to be pointless. Lorna's issues with her curse and Auntie Whispers are solved super fast, but still there's a sense of relief and thankfulness that this issue no longer affects her life. Same with the teacher Miss Langtree, and the woodsman, and Quincy, and everyone else they meet. Even the conclusion of the series is on the simpler side. There is no great clash between the beast and the boys, no punches thrown, nor magic found, just a simple realization that the beast is lying, that it can offer nothing, and only by moving forward can Wirt and Gregory find their way home. Everything is simple, but also incredibly genuine. And perhaps that's why it has risen to cult classics so easily. A holiday special is hardly ever a hard-hitting piece. A holiday special is something that the whole family can gather around and enjoy, no matter what age, filled with elements of the season that leaves everyone with a warm feeling long after it's over. This show fits that definition perfectly. It's wonderful to look at, sounds delightful at every turn, and leaves you with warm, fuzzy feelings as you move on to other celebrations. It is a genuine delight to watch and just enjoy. Simply wonderful. This has been Frightingale's Month of Mayhem. Thank you so much for watching, and happy Halloween! Hi there, it's the end of the video, my friend. Hit the bell if it was okay, I'm sure I'll make good content someday. I'll play some games or do some drawing, Pokemon and fights with darling, video essays and reviews. I couldn't do it without you, so thanks, like and subscribe.